Good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, February 23rd, 2023. The time is 9:00 a.m. on the dot, and I would like to welcome everybody to the Alameda County Healthy Homes Department's Joint Power Authority meeting for the month of February. Please note that this meeting is being conducted pursuant to exemptions to the Brown Act authorized by the governor during the COVID state of emergency. Pursuant to Assembly Bill 361, we're meeting via video conference this morning for the health, safety, and welfare of our staff, the public, and our directors. If you are looking to join our meeting and participate, you can do that by either visiting the office at on Embarcadero or joining us using the Zoom link provided for in today's agenda. You have the opportunity to provide public comment both through the Zoom meeting as well as submitting an electronic comment card in advance of the meeting to Leticia de la Fuente, whose email address and contact information is provided for in the notice for today's agenda. With those details out of the way, I would like to ask Leticia, would you please take the roll call?
Director Hardy? Hardy absent. Director Vella? Vella absent. Director Winra?
Say that again, Leticia.
I'm calling roll right now.
We couldn't hear what name you called.
Oh, Director Winra.
Present.
Director Gallo?
Present.
Director Bowders?
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll move to public comment for the agenda and non-agenda items. A member of the public who wishes to comment for an item not on this agenda has 2 minutes to do so. Did we receive any written comment cards in advance of today's meeting?
No comments.
Okay, no hands are raised. Comment is closed. Consent items, members, 3.1 and 3.2 is an AB 361 resolution. It will be our last one. And our minutes from the December 15th, 2022 meeting. Our minutes from the January 2023 meeting. My apologies. Are there any comments or questions on the minutes? Seeing none, is there any comment?
Move approval.
Okay, motion by Wengraf.
Second.
Second by Gallo. Please call the roll.
Director Hardy? Hardy absent. Director Vella? Vella absent. Director Winra?
Aye.
Winra, aye. Director Bowders?
I'm gonna vote aye, but then I'm gonna have a point of order on this. Actually, the notice I got confused because the notice for today's meeting says the meeting minutes of February 23rd, and that is today. So we did not properly notice the meeting minutes. So I'm actually gonna ask. I don't think we can take action on this because I don't think we've noticed the meeting minutes properly. We have the wrong date. So at the next meeting, Leticia, I need you to have an agenda item for the January minutes as well as now the February minutes, please. Okay, so when we do the minutes for today, we'll just note that we did not take action on the minutes because they were not noticed properly. Okay, sorry for that, folks. Didn't catch that until just now.
My apologies too. I didn't catch it. Leticia did send it to me to proofread.
She's testing all of us. She has a little grin on her face, and she wins today. now that hand has been played, and I will be watching for the next time. Okay, so we'll move to agenda item number 4, which is our director's report, and I'll turn it over to Director Brooks. Good morning.
Oh, good morning. Let me see here if I can share screen here. Sharing. Okay. Can everyone see my screen? I'm sharing the agenda here. Yes. Okay, let me get to the director's report. So the director's report for the JPA meeting of February 23rd, 2023. This is going to be a quick but very exciting report. Quickly, it is now official. County Supervisor Nate Miley is a member of the JPA. We are not sure if he himself will be coming to the JPA meetings or if he will appoint a designee, but future meetings will have someone from Supervisor Miley's office, if not himself, coming to the JPA meetings. The Board of Supervisors did vote to approve his appointment last month. Now, for the real exciting news, Senator Archuleta has introduced my Code Enforcement Incentive Program, Community Code Enforcement Pilot Program bill. I'm just really pumped about this. It's taken me 3 years to get this introduced to the legislature. The thing about it is I'm kind of the historian for the California Association of Code Enforcement Officers. I brought this up to their attention 3 years ago because I was one of the last recipients of the grant when I was chief of code enforcement for Sacramento County back in 2001. And my hats off to former Congressman Lowenthal, who actually created the law in the health and safety code that allowed for the state to provide these grants, but they only did it one time and then they stopped funding it. When I brought it up to the Code Enforcement Association and was directed to talk to State Housing Community Development, they didn't even know it existed. They weren't aware of the statute. Everyone there had retired who administered the program. And so it took me 1 year just educating them. Then last year, I spent the whole year educating legislators about the health and safety code section pertaining to these grants. And then finally this year, we were seeking someone to author. And when it looked like we weren't going to get an author, Senator Archuleta stepped up. And it's been an exciting journey ever since he introduced the bill just a couple of weeks ago. I've been meeting with the California League of Cities. They're kind of excited about it. I've met with the, the California State Association of Counties that represents all the boards of supervisors. They're getting pumped up about it because what this will do is, hey, by the way, I'm getting a phone call from Director Gwen Hardy. So Ladise, if you can maybe give her a call. So what this bill does is it's going to resurrect the Code Enforcement Incentive Grant and the Community Code Enforcement Pilot Program. And it's not only going to resurrect it, but it's going to increase the allotments from $450,000 to up to $2 million that a city or county can apply for in order to beef up code enforcement. The timing on this is perfect because after the passage of Assembly Bill 838 that requires all cities and counties to respond to tenant complaints about substandard conditions, including lead hazards, a lot of the members of the Code Enforcement Association are saying they don't have the bandwidth to come into compliance with 838. And so we're saying these grants, they would be 3-year grants in order to pilot various programs. This would give many jurisdictions the seed money in order to at least come into compliance with 838, and then later on they might have to establish their own fee structure or annual inspection fee or a housing stock conservation fee, as they call it, something similar to our own CSA that would then finance their programs. But it also gives them an opportunity, as I've been teaching a lot of legislators over the last couple of years, it gives them the opportunity to beef up their program in other ways. As you can see in this slide presentation, it took almost 3 years to dig up this information from the state to confirm what I had been sharing with people about my memories of how the grant had been used over 20 years ago. And I referred to the grant as the clipboard to computer grant, because back in 2000, many of my colleagues were using these grants in order to bring code enforcement into the age of technology. Back then, we were using clipboards and Polaroid cameras to go out and do inspections and take notes and take pictures as evidence in our cases. As you can see here with some of these examples, cities were able to use the grant to buy field laptop computers and digital cameras and create case management databases, as well as equipment and things of that nature. So I kind of see history repeating itself if this grant becomes law, that many jurisdictions will be able to upgrade their code enforcement programs in that way. Now, there is a couple of catches in the new version of the grant. People have to be state certified code enforcement officers, and also the money can only be used in such a way as to show that the code enforcement activities will be directed towards improving, maintaining existing housing. So it basically is a housing code enforcement grant. You have to be able to justify how these grants are going to be used to preserve existing housing. And that's pretty much the argument that I've been making for the last 3 years is there's so much emphasis on building new affordable housing. What are we doing to preserve existing housing? And so many cities and counties have budgets. And when you look at their budget reports, they have a pie chart and you see the different slices of the pie. And sometimes you might be blessed to see a small slither dedicated to code enforcement. In other cases, you see nothing dedicated to code enforcement. And I've always argued that we need to stop fighting over the pie and grow the pie. And this is an example of how we can grow the pie so that some cities and counties can devote a slice of their budget to code enforcement. So I am kind of making my rounds here to different organizations. We'll be talking to our own board of supervisors, asking them to support this bill so that hopefully it can become law. Any questions?
Are there any questions for Director Brooks on the proposed bills? Director Wingraf?
Yeah, I was just going to ask whether it would be helpful if city councils wrote letters of support in this for this legislation. I never can tell whether doing that is useful or not. I don't know whether it influences votes or not. But if Larry, you thought it would be helpful, I'm happy to bring this forward to the Berkeley City Council.
I think it helps. I'm talking to all of the members of the California Association of Code Enforcement and telling them, in fact, if you want a crack at these grants, you're going to have to go to your elected bodies and ask them to notify the people in Sacramento that you would like to see this bill become law, because many of the legislators are saying that this is going to be a tough year to get anything passed because of the budget deficit. So I think everyone should be trying to notify the legislators as they identify their budget priorities that they see this as one.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Director Gaio.
Yeah, Larry, what has been your experience with the city of Oakland?
In terms of this grant opportunity,
Right, or this level of service, yes.
yeah, I think that we are on the brink here of doing some incredible things in Oakland. I mean, Oakland in their race and equity impact analysis has recommended a proactive rental inspection program. This money might be able to be used for advancing that proactive rental inspection program to preserve the housing. We have already cut a deal with building inspection and planning to teach all of their building inspectors and code enforcement officers. I think it's like a total of 40 will go through the one-day lead safe work practices training and become EPA RRP certified. So that they will know how to deal with lead complaints. So again, I see the grant as an opportunity for them to also be a part of growing the pie, that maybe a bigger slice of money can go towards their inspection programs with this grant.
Okay, so you're already directly working with our planning department?
I'm talking directly with Tim Lowe and David Miles.
Okay.
I have not had conversations with, in fact, your alternate for the JPA, Bill Gilchrist. I have not had a conversation with him about it. It might be a good one to have, but I know it's kind of hard to catch up with him.
Okay, so I'll follow up and then we'll set up a time to have that conversation with you, okay? Thank you for that.
Okay, yeah. Any other questions?
Okay, seeing none, go ahead.
So we got more exciting news. Just last week, the Environmental Protection Agency notified us that they're going to look to the Healthy Homes Department to help them to administer this new grant program that is supposed to be for teaching communities about lead poisoning prevention. It was something that was actually created original through a collaboration with the National Tribal Council and the National Tribal Science Council to educate communities about lead and actions to prevent childhood lead exposure, and also about the importance of hiring EPA RRP certified lead professionals like our Oakland building inspectors and code enforcement officers will soon be. And so because we piloted the program to train building inspectors and code enforcement officers in lead safe work practices, the EPA Region 9 office thought that we would be the perfect people to work with them on figuring out how to disperse these funds to different communities up and down the state. But of course, Director Gaio, I'm going to be looking at some targeted communities in Oakland to receive these funds to provide this kind of training, as well as they've also asked us to consult, because Region 9 represents not just California, but several other states in the region, Western region, including Hawaii. They've asked us to consult with the Hawaiian Code Enforcement Officers Association. I'm still trying to work out a deal to go to Hawaii. I don't think they're going to buy it, but since they want me to consult with them, I just figured, just saying. But we're really excited about this. We don't know how much money is going to be given to provide these kinds of trainings in different neighborhoods, but we are excited to be advisors to them in terms of helping them to select neighborhoods up and down the state, as well as within Alameda County. And I did ask them about the trainings for building inspectors and code enforcement officers, which they now say that is the model, and all EPA regional offices are going to be offering money to provide training to building inspectors and code enforcement officers all over the country. They said that California will receive some money for that as well. So they said they'll get back to me on that as soon as they know how much money is going to be set aside for these community trainings. And then as soon as they know how much money will be set aside to provide trainings to building inspectors and code enforcement officers all up and down the state, they'll get in touch with me, because again, they want Healthy Homes Department to be their advisors. Any questions?
Other questions on this item? Seeing none, go ahead.
All right. And then another piece of excitement here. Next week, we'll be going to our County Board of Supervisors to ask their approval to apply for another round of HUD lead hazard control grant dollars. So under the new notice of funding availability, you can request up to $5.7 million. We don't know exactly how much we're going to ask for yet. We're still kind of discussing it within our department, but before we can even apply, we need the Board of Supervisors to approve that. So that's coming at next week's Board of Supervisors meeting. Any questions related to that?
Seeing none.
And lastly, just a little bit of bragging rights here. Healthy Homes Department partnered with Change Lab Solutions to put on a national webinar that was actually attended live by 498 people. And it was a topic that covered, as you can see here, policymaking for housing justice, unpacking the equity challenges of housing code enforcement. And I got to be on a panel with some really, really great speakers. And as I said, we had over 500 attend. It has now gone on YouTube, and as of 2 weeks ago, there was nearly 100 views. I'm getting calls from all over the country in regards to the presentation, and forming some really good network partners here to work on housing justice. And you'll see some of the results of that in the future as the Healthy Homes Department continues to collaborate with some of those partners that we made, including Change Lab Solutions, which is actually headquartered in Oakland and is receiving a lot of praise for having put this together. So any other questions?
Any questions on this? Seeing none, congratulations and thank you for being part of the panel.
Thank you.
Okay, well, that concludes the director's report. Is there any public comment on the director's report?
There's no
Seeing
public
none.
comment.
Okay, thank you. We'll move to the mid-year outreach activities report.
Before we do that, can I ask a clarifying question? Are you able to take action on consent item 3.1, the resolution?
Yes, we did. We voted for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. So in regards to the mid-year outreach activities report, some things that I want to highlight are the public outreach and indirect outreach that we've done. As you may recall, in the summer of 2022, we hosted a series of focus groups with CSA property owners to get owner feedback on the type of services, information that will be helpful to them. The majority of the focus group participants were interested in education awareness, home consultations, lead testing, financial assistance for lead abatement and other housing issues, particularly asbestos and mold. In response to what we found out from the participants, the department has been building our capacity in the use of online and social media to get the information out to property owners. We're establishing the in-home consultation among other service offerings, and that is expected to be launched next month. We also partner with the Oakland Housing Authority to develop the roadmap to a healthy home. This is a community engagement tool that will provide residents with information and resources to keep themselves and their family healthy in their home. More information on this will be shared with you in the future. We also partner with Cypress Mandela in Oakland to provide training. Since last quarter, we've trained 27 individuals and they have become certified renovators. We've also hosted 4 online workshops, and the topics have been lead in soil, gardening, and just lead related topics. I do want to point out in the healthy housing units assessments, the lead hazard control, we've been challenged due to the impacts of COVID and also changing demographics. There's more mixed income properties, for example. Also, the tenants have been have reluctance to provide qualifying information and challenging relationships between owners and tenants. So this has made the enrollment a lot more difficult now. The department actually is stepping up direct mail efforts, both targeted mailings and through visual identification of housing with deteriorated paint. In regards to the minor home repair program, we are also recruiting, we're having recruiting challenges, and this is in many areas of the urban county, as the senior citizens are the main clients for the service. And the department also expects to contract with the city of Oakland soon. Again, this is for minor home repair services. We do have a strong wait list, so we do think that that's going to help increase the numbers by the end of the fiscal year. That's all the comments that I have for the mid-year report.
Thank you. Are there any questions on the mid-year report? Is there any public comment on the mid-year report?
One comment here. I didn't share all of the document as Ladise was reading through it. There's a lot of charts in the report, but it was attached to your agenda report if you want to or find the need to go back and read up on the details within her mid-year report. It's several pages long.
Thank you. Seeing no public comment and no questions, we'll move to item 6, which is the monthly report.
In January, we saw quite a bit of updates happen to our website, including working with translators to add fully translated FAQ pages in 9 languages. Those 9 languages are Urdu, Spanish, Somali, Hindi, Pashto, Dari, Arabic, and Chinese. Also, our social media, we have been focusing on YouTube, creating playlists for people to learn about lead poisoning prevention and healthy homes principles in shorter, easy to follow videos We're also linking these playlists on different pages on our website. And basically, that's in response, we're doing all this in response to what we learned from our the focus group participants, that they wanted the information readily available in different formats.
Thank you. Are there questions on the monthly update?
And just a comment again, the report itself is included in your agenda packet, a couple of pages long. I didn't try to share screen. I noticed that Director Hardy is now in the room and on the phone, so she probably would not be able to see those sheets anyway. But Director Hardy, they are included in the packet that was sent to you. And the packet is also available to the public.
Thank you. Is there public comment?
No
Okay,
public comment.
seeing and hearing none, we'll move to future agenda items. Are there any requests for future agenda items? I would just note, it's not a future request, but at this space, I would just note that Director Wengraf has notified me that she's not available on the day of our March meeting. So, and that's our first meeting back in person. So I just want to do a couple things. One, I'd like to confirm that the other directors are available. So if we could please send an email after this meeting confirming in writing from each director that they're available, just because I don't want staff to make all the effort to come out, and because if we don't have a quorum, I don't want to have everybody else having made a trip, right? That's where we have to get back to. So so thank you for letting us know today, Director Wengraf, about that. So if we'll just do that, staff. The other just reminder is that this is our last virtual meeting because the governor's order expires. There is legislation to try to bring back some authority to do remote meetings for committees and regional boards that are like joint power authorities or things like the air district that span multiple jurisdictions. So we may be able to return to this format in the future. It depends on what the legislature can get its act together on. So, but Director Wengraf, you're on mute.
Unfortunately, I have an obligation at the time that we meet next month, and that's why and it's out of town. But if I were out of town and were available at this time, would I be able to participate remotely if I gave Ladice the address where I was?
You have to give it to her at least 7 days in advance, and you have to publish the notice on the front door of the place
Okay.
3 days
Yes.
in advance, and then it has to be ADA accessible to the public. So
Yes.
any member of the public who wanted to show up wherever you're going to be, so if that's a home or a hotel room, that means they get to come in.
Yeah.
But yes, you could do that and participate under the normal Brown Act provision if you're available at this time.
Okay, so it's the same rules as we have for our city council.
Yeah, it's the normal Brown Act rule. Because we have to publish the agenda
Yes.
7 days in advance, like at least 7 days in advance, you have to have given them the address and it has to be accessible.
Okay, I'm sorry, my apologies. It's just I have this conflict at the same
Oh,
time.
it happens. We get it. We get it. It happens. And if for some reason we poll and we can't conduct the meeting at the normal time, we will send out a survey to find a special meeting time, or we will simply, if we need to, cancel the meeting if there's nothing urgent. So we'll work through that scenario when we hear from directors. That's why I don't want to wait to find out availability too close to the 23rd, because if we find out there's I don't know why Director Bell is not here today, but if we have other conflicts, right, then we should just begin seeking a rescheduling date.
Okay.
Okay, other future agenda requests? Seeing none. Announcements by members of the board of directors. Is there any today? No, I would just like to recognize Black History Month briefly. It's not on the agenda as a topic, but lead poisoning disproportionately affects people of color in Alameda County, including our Black and brown residents. And Black homeowners and tenants have always lived in neighborhoods, not just here in Alameda County, but across most of the country, in places that were environmentally polluted and imposed upon with transportation infrastructure designed to cater to white families. And as a consequence of that, Latino and Black families have lived in places where their air quality is poor, the water quality is poor, and the quality of their home condition is poor. As a former housing quality specialist attorney who litigated housing quality standards against housing authorities in Chicago, 90% of my clients were Black. And that was because of lead, asbestos, mold, other home conditions that made home quality, environmental quality, very bad. So Black History Month is not about just environmental equality and environmental justice, but I think that when we talk about Black history, we have to also talk about the oppression of Black people and the way that we've institutionalized racial injustice and environmental injustice. So I just want to make a note of that in the record. So that's my comment. Anyone else wish to comment? Okay, seeing none. The time, Madam Clerk, is 9:30 and this meeting is adjourned. We did it in 30 minutes. I will see you all at Emeryville City Hall next month. There's ample parking for those who drive. If you bicycle, I will give you gourmet front row seat bike parking. I'll let you bring it in the chambers if you'd like. So we'll see you all next month. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.